We know their public faces, great leaders, brilliant inventors, legendary conquerors, but history often hides the real complex people behind these iconic names. Today, we're uncovering the hidden lives of famous figures like Cleopatra, Napoleon, and Leonardo da Vinci. Their secrets reveal ambition, insecurity, innovation, and heartbreak, things that make them not just legends, but deeply human. Let's dive into the real stories behind the myths. Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt, was born in 69 BCE into the Ptolemaic dynasty, a family of Macedonian Greek origin that ruled Egypt after Alexander the Great's death. She wasn't just a seductress, she was a brilliant linguist, mathematician, and economist. Cleopatra spoke at least 7 languages, likely including Egyptian, Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Ethiopian dialects. When she was just 18, she co-ruled Egypt with her younger brother Ptolemy XIII, but quickly outmaneuvered him politically. Her alliances with Julius Caesar and later Mark Antony were calculated political moves aimed at securing Egypt's independence from the expanding Roman Empire. Cleopatra's reign saw economic revival, stabilization of currency, and promotion of art and culture. She portrayed herself as the living embodiment of Isis, using religion as propaganda to solidify her rule. In 41 BC, Mark Antony, at that time in dispute with Caesar's adopted son Octavian over the succession to the Roman leadership, began both a political and romantic alliance with Cleopatra. They subsequently had 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. In 31 BC, Mark Antony and Cleopatra combined armies to take on Octavian's forces in a great sea battle at Actium, on the west coast of Greece. Octavian was victorious, and Cleopatra and Mark Antony fled to Egypt. Octavian pursued them and captured Alexandria in 30 BC. With his soldiers deserting him, Mark Antony took his own life, and Cleopatra chose the same course, committing suicide on 12th of August 30th BC. Egypt became a province of the Roman Empire. In the Liberators' Civil War of 43-42 BC, Cleopatra sided with the Roman Second Triumvirate formed by Caesar's heir Octavian, Mark Antony, and Marcus Aemilius Lepidus. After their meeting at Tarsus in 41 BC, the queen had an affair with Antony, which produced 3 children. Antony became increasingly reliant on Cleopatra for both funding and military aid during his invasions of the Parthian Empire and the Kingdom of Armenia. The donations of Alexandria declared their children rulers over various territories under Antony's authority. Octavian portrayed this event as an act of treason, forced Antony's allies in the Roman Senate to flee Rome in 32 BC, and declared war on Cleopatra. After defeating Antony and Cleopatra's naval fleet at the 31 BC Battle of Actium, Octavian's forces invaded Egypt in 30 BC and defeated Antony, leading to Antony's suicide. When Cleopatra learned that Octavian planned to bring her to his Roman triumphal procession, she killed herself by poisoning. Napoleon Bonaparte was born on August 15, 1769 in Corsica. Despite his later image as a confident emperor, he grew up feeling like an outsider among French elites, leading to lifelong insecurity about his origins. He rapidly rose through military ranks during the French Revolution, winning loyalty with both strategic brilliance and charisma. Yet Napoleon was obsessed with controlling his narrative, personally overseeing propaganda, battlefield bulletins, and even commissioning heroic paintings. In governance, he introduced the Napoleonic Code, a lasting legacy in legal systems worldwide, showing his passion for order, clarity, and stability. Behind closed doors, he was known for intense mood swings, micromanaging his generals, and writing love letters filled with desperation to his first wife, Josephine de Beauharnais, whom he adored but ultimately divorced for political reasons. After his final defeat at Waterloo in 1815, Napoleon was exiled to St. Helena, where he lived under heavy surveillance. His memoirs show a man still strategizing. Even as he faced death, he tried to control how history would remember him. Napoleon rose through the ranks of the French army and was promoted to Major General after helping to quash a royalist coup in Paris. In 1796, at just 26 years old, he was sent to Italy to mount a last-ditch campaign against France's bitter rival, Austria. He found the French troops exhausted and unpaid, but whipped them into excitement with promises of glory and riches to be won. Despite being outnumbered almost 2-to-1 by Austrian and Italian Piedmontese fighters, Napoleon used speed and cunning to separate the enemy forces and ruthlessly attack their weak points. Napoleon's armies could cover up to 30 miles, 48 kilometers a day, compared to just 6 or 7, 10 or 11 kilometers for the Austrians and Italians. "They sent a young madman who attacks right, left, and from the rear," complained a Piedmontese officer. "It's an intolerable way of making war." When the Austrians and Italians surrendered, Napoleon demanded payment in gold, which he gave to his fighting men, sealing their loyalty. Word of his exploits spread far and wide. Napoleon really burst onto the scene with the staggering success of the First Italian campaign, which put him on the radar with the rest of Europe. Says Hicks, "Everybody wanted to know, who is this guy?" Born in 1452 as the illegitimate son of a notary and a peasant woman, Leonardo da Vinci grew up with no formal education beyond basic literacy and math, yet he would become one of history's greatest minds. Leonardo wasn't just a painter. He was an engineer, architect, musician, anatomist, and inventor. His notebooks, written in mirror image code, contain designs for tanks, submarines, helicopters, and even robots centuries ahead of his time. Yet he struggled with finishing projects. The Mona Lisa, his most famous work, took nearly 16 years and was never officially delivered to the patron who commissioned it. Leonardo lived in a world of secrecy. Scholars widely believe he was homosexual at a time when such a life had to remain hidden under threat of imprisonment. In 1476, Leonardo was anonymously accused of sodomy but was acquitted due to lack of evidence. He spent his final years in France under the patronage of King Francis I, where he continued drawing, inventing, and contemplating the mysteries of life. Within the artworks created by his own circle of peers, the influence of Leonardo da Vinci's works is readily evident. Raphael and even sometime rival Michelangelo adopted some of da Vinci's signature techniques to produce similarly active, anatomically realistic figures. His innovative breaks from the artistic standards of his day would guide generations of artists that followed. Although Leonardo da Vinci painted the customary religious scenes of his era, such as the Adoration of the Magi and Madonna of the Yarnwinder Sjord, his unique placement of key figures, his signature techniques, and his improvements upon perspective were all previously unheard of. In The Last Supper, the way in which he isolated Christ at the epicenter of the scene and made each apostle a separate entity, yet at the same time united them all in the moment, is a stroke of genius that subsequent artists throughout history would strive to replicate. What unites Cleopatra, Napoleon, and Leonardo? Their greatness came not from perfection, but from resilience, vision, and the courage to break societal boundaries. They were ambitious but deeply vulnerable. They navigated worlds that judged them harshly for their origins, ideas, or personal lives. They mastered politics, war, art, and science, while secretly battling loneliness, fear, and failure. Their true power lay in their ability to reinvent themselves. Cleopatra as goddess queen, Napoleon as emperor, Leonardo as the embodiment of Renaissance curiosity. Behind every legend is a human story, messy, brilliant, inspiring. Knowing their secret lives doesn't diminish their greatness, it deepens our connection to them. Which hidden truth fascinated you the most? Cleopatra's linguistic genius, Napoleon's emotional fragility, Leonardo's futuristic imagination? Let's continue uncovering history's hidden layers together. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for more mind-blowing deep dives. And comment below, whose hidden life should we explore next?